They don't have money, but they're funny, and they're coming to your country. They're the back-a-pack bandits.
Jumbo, thanks for tuning into our channel. We are the Back-a-Pack bandits, but we are not bandits. And in this video, we're going to give our review of our 2.5-month stay here in Tanzania, East African country. We came in October 30th, and we're leaving on January 9th.
Which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. We're filming this video January 8th, 2023. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting time. We came here from Mauritius after spending 3 months there. And we're going to review what our experience and tell you what we think you should know to be prepared to have a good time here.
We're gonna start with the best places to be or stay in Tanzania in general. So
when we first came, we went to Dar es Salaam, of course, because that's where the major airport is. And we stayed in a large tower next to the bay called the SPCC building or something like that. And I really enjoyed my stay there. It's right near the Bay of Dar es Salaam, and it has a great view of the water. There's a lot to do in that city center, and I really enjoyed my time staying there for the first 2 weeks that we were here, waiting to go to Zanzibar with my wife and her family. My second choice for best places to stay is Stone Town. Stone Town is very unique in that, you know, it's a very ancient place and still very rustic, but people still live in those types of places. I used to live in Tunisia, and in Tunisia they have these old Arab castles that people used to live in, but now they don't. But in Stone Town, they still do. So you can get lost in these winding streets and still see, you know, very traditional people, but also a lot of tourists and like modern people. You can drink there, of course. There's a great beach right by Stone Town, and it was one of the most interesting beaches I've ever seen. I went there and guys were like doing yoga stretches and backflips on the beach, and it just had a really cool vibe. The only problem there is that the Wi-Fi was horrible, but I really enjoyed my time in Stone Town. For my third favorite place, just because we spent a long time there, it wasn't planned, but it just sort of ended up that way, is the house that we rented in Arusha when we first came to Arusha. And we're filming this video in Arusha now. Right now we're in a hotel called Natron Palace. But I really enjoyed my time at that house that we rented from Airbnb because it had a very large backyard. There were dogs there to play with. It felt like home. When the electricity was on, which was 70% of the time, it was a great time. And it was a great time to just reflect, chill, play my guitar, spend time with my wife, write songs, and, you know, just get in tune with myself. So those are my 3 favorite places where I stayed in Tanzania.
Well, my list is almost the same as yours, but the first place for me was Stone Town. I guess Zanzibar in general, but specifically Stone Town. I just want to add that there was also like a night food market type of thing that they had there. That was really fun to see. They have a big park where they set up all types of street food. When we went there, there were like young people shooting TikToks, dancing and all of that. It was nice to see that. I think also just in general, Zanzibar has a lot of places to go and see, like beaches, but also smaller islands nearby. I really liked Stone Town. I like the vibe. One thing though, if you stay in Stone Town, stay in the outer skirts of the Stone Town, not directly inside. Because the inside, I guess because of the construction of the neighborhood, the Wi-Fi doesn't really get in. The signals doesn't really like work in there. The Wi-Fi is like 80% not working. I really had fun also in Dar es Salaam as well. The good thing about Dar es Salaam is you can access anywhere, anything with a tuk-tuk ride, which is convenient, or with motorcycles. I don't know if I have a third favorite place.
Only those 2?
Yeah, those 2.
Yeah, okay, all right.
The next category is a place to avoid.
I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, the place to avoid here in Tanzania could be Arusha as a whole, as a city. Once you go on safari or climb Meru or go to Kilimanjaro or go to the Luti Falls or Chemka Hot Springs, whatever it is that you're looking to do, there's really not that much to do around here that is readily accessible, easily affordable, unless you want to party. Here in Arusha, we spent a month and maybe some more, few days if I really think about it, here in Arusha, and we just partied a lot because there are places to like go dancing and drinking or just like having chill night. But other than that, in Arusha, there's really not that much to do. There's more to do in Dar because they have beaches, they have the water.
Yeah, I agree with you to some extent. If you go to Zanzibar, I would suggest to avoid like far off places in Zanzibar. I feel like you should either stay in Stone Town or in the north in a place called Nungwi, which has a good beach that you can swim in, and it's also like more populated because we stayed in like somewhere
in the northeast. We stayed in a place starts with the M. I want to say Matawemi. And you know, when you're listening to our opinions, keep in mind that we're digital nomads, also backpackers and budget travelers. So listen, if you're coming to Tanzania with a whole lot of money and a whole lot of access and privilege, you're gonna have a great time the short time you're here, right? Yeah. But if you're like budget travelers like us, young people like us, who are more used to being able to do fun stuff without having to pay an arm and a leg, you're going to have a different experience, right?
Yeah. So I just want to say, like, if you stay in like the other parts of the island, you're probably gonna need a car, and there are just basically just resorts there that you can spend time in.
And you can get around Zanzibar using the local buses, but the buses are very small. I've never been in a bus where you have your knees up to your chest like this, or you're hanging off the back of a van. It's very rustic in Zanzibar. Like it's very.
And you're riding with a chicken.
You're riding with chickens. It's very real and rustic. If you're looking for that sort of experience where you're just off the beaten path, Wi-Fi doesn't matter to you, modern amenities don't matter to you, Zanzibar might be heaven.
The best things to do in Tanzania.
So, in my opinion, the best things to do. If you're in Dar es Salaam, there's a very, very nice beach that's in the north. I don't know the exact name, it starts with the M, but one of the best beaches I ever went to in my life, like in my life, period, was this very nice beach in Dar es Salaam. Secondly, I would suggest also going to Stone Town just to experience it for a few days, in my opinion. Going there, being there, seeing this place, that's very ancient, and the way the people still exist in that place, and just the weirdness of the place. It's one of the strangest places I've ever been. But they have food markets there at night. Like she said, she mentioned the kids dancing in the park. It's very cool to see. Something else that I suggest, we did this recently, I think, yeah, we did it yesterday, is go to Chemka Hot Springs. I enjoyed my time there. It's a oasis, really in the middle of this kind of barren land. And when you go there, it looks just like what you think an oasis would be. And I've never seen an oasis before. The water was really nice. You could have fun there. It's not that expensive to enter. You do have some problems though, because you know the Tanzanian people love to follow you around and try to sell you stuff all the time. But generally, those are my top three. Yeah,
I think that trip cost us, both of us, less than $30, around $26. So right. It's pretty doable. And it's a nice place. So my best things to do are also Zanzibar. I feel like people definitely should go to Zanzibar, especially if you come to Dar es Salaam. Hour and a half, you know, ferry ride. It's pretty accessible and it's not that expensive. And if you go to Zanzibar, I would suggest that you go to the sandbanks, which is like a sand island, like very soft white sand island in the middle of the ocean. And I've never seen a beach like that, so for me that was very enchanting in terms of like the view, and it was just like a very nice place to be. It felt like I was in a dream, so I would suggest doing that. If you have the opportunity and the money, you should do the dolphin diving experience. And the thing that I liked about it was that the dolphins were in the wild, in the ocean, and you kind of basically just chase them with a bunch of other like little tour boats. I feel like in general, nightlife in Tanzania is good, is fun. The music is really good. It's lit, it's chill. Beer is cheap, I would say, in local places. Though you can get scammed, but we will talk about that. One last thing, if you come to Arusha, you should definitely go to the Cultural Heritage Museum, which is free to enter. And they have historical stuff. They have African artists displaying their pieces. It's a huge, huge place where you can spend like 4 or 5 hours just, you know, going around admiring the beauty of the art, beauty of the history.
Yeah, it's one of the most amazing museums I've ever seen, definitely. And I'm gonna add this little bonus in there. There's one of the waterfalls in Arusha, and it was really cool to see because it falls from very high, and the water is very cold, and you can jump in there, swim around, and also have some very cool pictures for your Instagram or whatever you're looking for.
You can also walk there from the center of Arusha. It's like an 1.5 hour walk.
Yeah,
which was cool.
Kind of a hike because it's up the hills up there.
Things to keep in mind, things to be careful of in Tanzania.
When you enter Tanzania, you don't stop paying. So there's a visa on arrival if you're traveling to Tanzania from most of the countries in the world. I think the only countries that don't have to pay are East African countries, Kenya, Rwanda, etc., etc. But everybody, to enter Tanzania, you have to pay $100 each, right?
Well, I paid $50.
Oh, sorry. Americans pay $100. Other people pay $50. Regardless, once you pay, you never stop paying. It's a constant battle and fight to keep your money in your wallet, to try to do anything here. A lot of people are, you know, when they come to Tanzania, the hotel or the accommodation they rented offers them a taxi ride to the airport, and they start at $45, $50. And, you know, it's just not right because, you know, if you download the app InDrive, you can save so much money. It's the Uber here. And it's interesting because you get to offer a price that you feel like is best. They have suggestions for the price that is normal to pay. And now you can find out what the average rate is to go to, you know, another part of the city, go to the airport, etc. So download InDrive. That's my second piece of advice. And my third thing to keep in mind is that this country often has electrical outages and often has problems with Wi-Fi. We're digital nomads, so that's something that we always have to keep in mind. And I highly suggest, and I think I made this in the last immersion video, but please get you one of these. Please get one of these. Please get a portable Wi-Fi box. Fill it up with a SIM card, load it up with data. I suggest going to Vodacom, load up on data here because it's generally affordable, like $20 or $30 for like a month package, so that you always are able to be connected with your phone, so you can have Google Translate available, currency conversion available, directions available. It's very good to have one of these in your pocket. So those are my things. I'll also add this: if you're coming from abroad, English here is not the best. They're very, very, very Swahili in that sense. Only about, I would say, 15% of the people speak English and understand you and can comprehend and talk to you. So having that Google Translate available with a Wi-Fi box would definitely help you.
I also want to add to that they might act like they understand you, because they would say, like, this happened to us a bunch of times. Like, we would ask the price or tell a price to, let's say, a tuk-tuk driver, and he would say, okay, I understand. And then once we get there, he would want like more money, or he wouldn't understand the directions. So it's just good to double check with the translator, and they're like chill like that, but it can be annoying when you're traveling, trying to get around, when you have a time limit. For white people who are coming to Tanzania, there is a lot of attention that is directed towards you. And so far, from my experience in every city we've been to, in Dar es Salaam, in Zanzibar, in Arusha, everywhere, it can be disturbing sometimes, and it makes you a visible foreigner, which will allow like Tanzanians to try to rip you off more. Talking about myself, I just kind of reminded myself in my time here to keep my ego in check. They mostly want to say hi to me or ask me how am I doing or any of that type of stuff in terms of tourism and trying to keep their livelihood alive, I guess. So in general, it's hard to describe this, but that's what I told myself. Keep your ego in check because you're not the royalty. You want to add anything?
I'm not white and I'll never be white, but all I'll say is that for all the white people who are worried about maybe coming to Africa, please don't be worried because we treat you guys way better than you guys treat us when we come to your countries.
The food.
In my opinion, you know how whenever somebody travels to a new country and they come back and tell their friends, they always say, oh, the food was so amazing. I really don't have that experience here. I have not been that impressed by the food here, the local food. And yeah, I've tried ugali. By the way, you know, I was introduced to it in America as fufu, ugali, fufu, whatever. They're roasted grilled chicken here.
Sekela.
Chicken sekela. Other dishes, like their stew dishes, you know, their street food and stuff like that.
They got chicken liver, kebab, shish things.
Yeah, when you walk the streets, you see that a lot. People grilling the chicken liver on a stick with some red sauce on it. I have not been impressed with that. And by the way, I don't eat organs. I know most of the world does, but most Americans don't. And I don't know. I've tried it. It's just not for me. Yeah, it's not for me. So yeah, I'll be honest, I have not been impressed by the food here. I don't feel like they use a lot of good seasonings, even though they have Zanzibar, which is the seasoning island, and they have access to all that. I feel like they're not seasoning their food in the right way. We ordered like chicken at a restaurant a few nights ago, and the skin was like very rubbery, like it wasn't grilled right. I'll just say in general, the best food that you will eat in Tanzania when you come will be the Indian food. And the Indians kind of low-key saved the gastronomy here, if I'm being honest, because we ate great food in Dar es Salaam at an Indian restaurant where they were serving dishes I had never heard of, like little fried bread things with like different lentils and different sauces inside. It was amazing. I went to Zanzibar and ate some great paneer. Never had paneer before. That was fantastic. And the samosas are the best street food you can find, and we know where that comes from. So, you know, maybe I'm a bit partial because I do love East Asian food, Indian food in general, but even here, looking at the menu, like, I'm just not that impressed. They have good fish. You know, if you're by the sea, you can find some good fish.
We ate some good fish in Zanzibar.
Yeah. And, you know, also in the streets, they love to roast bananas as well. So if you're into plantains, but they're not the very sweet plantains, they're like the semi-sweet plantains. And they don't fry them, which is wild, I have not seen fried plantains. And anybody who's from the Caribbean, anybody who's from different parts of Africa, you know fried plantains are lit, you know what I mean? But they don't have it here, so. This is the first country I've ever been to where I just did not like most of the local food, bro. Like, that's crazy.
I would agree, especially coming from Turkey. Like, I love meat, I love spices. It wasn't like, of course, it's not something that you can't eat. It tastes perfectly okay, but it's not something extraordinary. Like, you wouldn't come here for the food. Yeah, I would say. But other than that, just a few things. The beer here, Kilimanjaro, is nice, and it's usually like 3,000 or 4,000
for a big bottle.
For a big bottle in the pubs.
This is very strange, but here in Africa maybe, or at least in East Africa, they ask you when you order a beer, do you want it cold or
hot?
Hot beer is drunk here, and that's very strange. Very strange. Is somebody Tanzanian, please explain what the hot beer thing is about. Another thing here, they do have some good alcohols, like Hanson's Choice is a brandy they serve here. I drink a lot of K-Vant, which I think is like a distilled type of brandy as well. This is a soda that we found in Zanzibar. Stony. And it's very interesting because it's ginger flavor, and it's very like, it's like ginger, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
it feels like healthy, but not healthy at the same time.
I just drank some right now, and it's like all that ginger just sits in your throat, and it's like ancient Chinese secret. One of the good things about being here is that fruits are widely available, so you can get delicious pineapple, delicious mangoes. Their oranges are very strange. They're green oranges, and when you open them, they're full of seeds, and they're not very juicy, not like the oranges that we used to eat, right? These are green oranges.
I also want to add one more thing about the food in general. There are no big supermarkets here. Right. There was one in Dar es Salaam. Even in Dar es Salaam, I only saw one of them. I'm sure there's more, but I don't think they're super common. They usually have like a kiosk, little mini market type of things where they do not accept credit card. When traveling, I would definitely have a lot of cash.
Yeah, Tanzania, like most of parts of Africa, right, is just really a cash-based society. It's really cash-based. All right, well, let's talk about money. So like we were talking about, Tanzania is a very cash-based society, so you have to pay for most things in cash. Card is not accepted everywhere. People here use a payment service called M-Pesa. Pesa means money in Swahili, and it stands for like mobile pesa, mobile money, right? So they have like these stands everywhere where people go and put money, I guess, on a card or make payments that way. So that's why they don't accept card a lot of places. Talking about going to the ATM, right? So let's say you go to the ATM and you want to take out, I don't know, 100,000 Tanzanian shilling. You'll take out your cash, but they charge you a fee for taking it out. So it'll be around 11,000. At least when I go to a bank called NMB, I use the NMB ATMs because to me they're the most affordable. There's another bank called ABSA which charges a fee and also does a markup on that. So it's like a 4% markup that they take, and also the fee to take out your money. So I don't suggest using ABSA when taking out money here. And other ATMs you go to in general are going to have a flat fee rather than a percentage. So it's better just to take out a lot than rather just, you know, $10 here, $10 there. And another thing about money here, there's different notes. The most common notes that you'll see are the 1,000, the 2,000, the 5,000, and the 10. They do have coins though. Keep those coins, at least the silver 500 ones, because you can use that when going to the store, paying for motorcycle rides, paying for tuk-tuks or baijus, as they call them here, right? And also, like, we cannot stress this enough, when people give you a price, this is not the time to just accept it, right? Because if they know that you're a foreigner, if you're a visible foreigner, if you're not speaking perfect Swahili, they're going to try to rip you off. It's horrible that it's like this way, but negotiate. A lot of the times when I was trying to take a bike or something and they quoted me a price and I was just about to get on, but the price is crazy, I got off and walked away. And then they come back and they say, okay.
They're gonna add like minimum 2,000 on top of the prices.
But remember, as the consumer, that you have the power, and just say no. Just say no. Like if people are trying to rip you off, just say no. A pack of cigarettes is of Embassy Kings is about 5,000. A bottle of water, a big one, is about 1,000. Just don't let people rip you off on things like that. Going to get like a chicken plate, like just chicken, should be around 5,000, right? If you're in like the local area, if you're in a more upscale area, maybe 7, right? When tourists come and pay crazy prices, you make it harder for the tourists that will come after you, because now people are expecting these outlandish, crazy prices.
In the restaurants, when you go, ask for the menu. And if they don't have a menu and then you have to eat there or you want to eat there, you can ask the local people. Simon did it 1 or 2 times because we didn't want to be ripped off. Yeah. When we're going to a local restaurant, especially not a touristic restaurant, and they're giving us like 2 times the actual price.
Right.
So you can't like just quietly ask the person next to you and they would help you with that.
Right. Like we went somewhere and they were trying to charge us, I think, like 5,000 for a big beer of Kilimanjaro. And I walked to the table next to us. I said, I'm sorry, Jumbo, sorry. How much is your beer? Because they were drinking the same one. They said 3,000. So, you know, if you have to find a way to find out the real prices, you know. But if you want to pay that extra 1,000, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. But you're gonna lose.
I just want to make this clear. We know that we are budget travelers, and we're not expecting for people to give us the cheapest price that they could or whatnot. We're not expecting that. If you've seen our review of Mauritius video, we did never complain about the prices in Mauritius. And generally, Mauritius is a more expensive place, a more expensive country. The one thing that we are upset about was the unfairness of the prices. We don't mind paying for the actual value of stuff.
Yeah.
We accept that.
Make it fair. That's the thing. It's like when it comes to how they price things with tourists, it's like, it makes you not want to buy anything. It makes you not want to go out. It makes you not want to do, you know, fun stuff. And that's sad that that's happening here because, you know, tourists contribute a lot to an economy and a place. But when you make people feel like they're getting ripped off and cheated almost every time, it makes you never want to go back. And I'll be honest, this is the worst place when it comes to getting ripped off that I've ever experienced. And I've been to a lot of third world developing nations, right? But this has been the absolute worst when it comes to pricing and money and things like that.
This country feels like, even though it's supposed to be in one of the affordable countries because it's a developing country, just like Turkey, it feels like a rich place country, like rich people's country, because they only allow rich people to do stuff here and have fun here. So
yeah, talking about pricing, if you want to know, climbing Kilimanjaro is starting at like $2,000 a person. Climbing Mount Meru is starting at around $800 or $900 a person. Going on safari for one day is about $400 a person. The fee to take the ferry from Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar, which is about $40 a head. The fee to go to Bagamoyo Island, which is just right off the coast of Dar es Salaam, is about $40 a head. Then you add on top of that the fact that everybody in the street is trying to rip you off, from the taxi drivers to the people selling you water and snacks. When you add all those things on top of it, the cost of being in this very developing country, when you look around in Tanzania, it's not like everybody's driving a Rolls Royce. Most people are walking, carrying stuff on their head, looking very poor and dilapidated. When you see all of that, and then you realize what you're paying, you're realizing that there's some sort of disconnect. Some people might say, oh, that's the corruption of the government, or that's like, you know, only the rich people own the stuff and they keep all the money. Whatever it is, things shouldn't be this expensive in a place where people are barely getting by. And it makes it uncomfortable. It makes it uncomfortable.
Yeah, very. It makes you not want to spend money. So like, it makes the opposite effect. You're trying to make more money and we want to spend money, but we want to spend the right amount of money.
Right. Just make it fair. Just treat people like how you would want to be treated. If you're a Tanzanian person getting upset, writing your little comment right now, imagine, buddy, that you came to Turkey or you came to America and we looked you up and down, heard you speaking Swahili, and made you pay $20 more. You wouldn't like that.
I want to talk about transportation in general.
When we first came to Dar es Salaam, we started taking the bus, right? We took the bus to our first beach, which was like Cocoa Beach, and a mixture of bus and like minibus and like tuk-tuk and bike and stuff like that. But transportation within a city, I highly suggest, once again, downloading InDrive. If not, you can take a bus in Dar es Salaam to get you around most places. Same as in Zanzibar, there are buses that go generally around the little island. Also, the most common form of transportation for local people is the baiju, I think is the name, or as we've been calling it, tuk-tuk, or the motorbikes. You can also call a motorbike on InDrive as well, and those are fairly cheap, but you cannot call the tuk-tuk.
When you're taking the bikes or the tuk-tuks in the city, especially in Dar, it can get chaotic. It can get a little bit scary. We hadn't had an accident, but
I was on a bike and my bike driver hit a woman and the bike bounced off her butt. True story. This is not a gun. It's not a joke.
Yeah, and then we also saw a bike hit a dog. The dog didn't die, but anyway. So yeah, it can be a little chaotic. Nothing happened to us, but just so you know. If
you take the InDrive cars, you will feel safer because those are actual cars like Uber, right? So, and you won't be worried about getting ripped off because the price is right there. Taking the bikes might be more exciting and fun, but just be careful. Please put on the helmets that they give you. And if your guy doesn't have a helmet, like ask him to give you his or something. Like, please wear a helmet when you're riding a bike. You know, nothing's worse than that. And also intercity travel, right? So we went from Dar es Salaam to Arusha via a bus company called Abood. And shout out to Abood, we paid 45,000 Tanzanian shillings to go from Dar to Arusha. And that was a fair price. And that helped us save money on flights and stuff like that. So that was cool. And so generally getting around is okay, but once again, you still have this problem where people might try to rip you off during the transportation process.
Also, tomorrow we will be going with the bus from Arusha to Mombasa. So just so you know, you can go to Kenya with a bus, or I think also Rwanda. I think we found a bus company that goes there. So you have that option as well if you're traveling around East Africa. Housing, the houses and hotels.
So, like I said earlier, electricity can be a problem here in Tanzania because there are power outages. And so to guarantee that you'll always have electricity, it's better to stay in a hotel. Unless you're a very rich person who can find a house that has a generator. Picking a hotel is the best way to make sure you always have that basic amenity such as Wi-Fi and electricity. Generally here, the housing has been okay. We've stayed in a mixture of hotels, homes. Actually, when I think about it, the first place we stayed was like an apartment complex. Right?
It was a shared
place. Apartment complex. Then we went to Zanzibar and stayed like at a little resort. Yeah. Then we went to Zanzibar. We were still in Zanzibar and we stayed at another apartment. We stayed in Stone Town at an apartment. Then we went back to Dar es Salaam and stayed at a hotel. Then we stayed in Arusha at a house. Then after Arusha's house, we stayed at a hostel. And now we're filming this at a hotel. So we've had a variety of experiences. Except for the hostel, none of the hotels lost electricity, but all of the houses that we stayed in did at one point. Yeah. So that's something to look out for. Generally, they're clean, though there are lizards and bugs that will get into the house, mostly harmless ants that don't bother you. I didn't see a lot of roaches. I didn't see like big giant roaches. You just see a lot of ants, slugs after it starts raining coming into your house. Lizards, of course, but generally housing is okay.
The one thing that I would suggest when you're getting a house here, ask every question that you have to your house owner before you make a reservation or before you go there. Like, we had this one incident where we were told that we had Wi-Fi in the house, and once we get there we didn't have Wi-Fi, which is essential for us. And also one time in Zanzibar, we booked a place and then the place actually didn't exist, or like the owner didn't reply to us at all. Just in general, make sure you have like all your questions answered before you book a place. Also, for budget travelers, the places you stay are not gonna be super luxurious. They're gonna be like normal places, normal houses. The bathrooms in general can be like, doesn't have a shower place or shower like tub or anything like that. So you just have the shower head and it's kind of connected with the rest of the bathroom. That's like the normality in this country. And I mean, it wasn't disturbing for me. It was okay.
For bathrooms, for all the Muslim travelers, they do use bidets here pretty often in Tanzania. So most of the places we've stayed had the little water hose for you to clean it up. So if you like that, you'll like the Tanzanian bathrooms. Yeah. Well, another thing I have to mention, maybe for all the Karens out there, for all the people who are like who hate noisy neighbors, Tanzania is not for you. Listen, I'm never the guy who's gonna bang on your door and tell you turn down the music. But we were staying in this place in Arusha next to a church, and this church would be active all day, all night. Sunday was not their only day to turn up for the Lord. Yeah. Every day you hear a person screaming on the microphone, hallelujah, and children singing Christian songs. And generally in Tanzania, they love music. Music is everywhere. Yeah. You will not walk down the street without hearing music. You can't even be in the remotest part of your city and not hear music. So that's not a problem for me. I don't know, it's not right, but if you want some peace and quiet, you really have to go super far. My useful tip is, if you're going to book a place, I highly suggest booking.com to have the most reliable booking that you will have. My second choice is Airbnb, though I hate Airbnb, honestly, but Airbnb has been reliable as well. And my third is VRBO. VRBO, if you do use VRBO to book here, contact your guy first. Don't just book. Send them a message first. I made the rookie mistake of doing that in Zanzibar, and the guy was a scammer, and he tried to, steal our money and not reply to our booking, but I fought to get the money back, and I did. So just in general, make sure that you're using a reputable site like Expedia.com, Booking.com to make your booking when you're coming here. And if you're one of those people who's very wealthy, who can go on safari or climb Meru or Kilimanjaro, make sure that you contact your safari agency first before you make that payment. You know, even if you do it on one of those booking sites, make sure that you contact them first.
If you really want to do the stuff in Arusha, like Kili, Meru, Safari, your hosts or the people that you stay with can help you with the pricing and can get you a little bit cheaper prices. I would say not a lot of difference, but I feel like it differed maybe like $100 overall score. So
I would be lying to you if I said I had a great time here in Tanzania. I'd be telling a lie. And were there times where I had a great time? Yes. Were there times where I was happy? Were there times where I was in awe of what I was seeing and the beauty? And yeah, because Africa is beautiful, right? The thing that makes it bad, unfortunately, and this is the most important thing for any country, are the people. And by and large, I feel like I didn't get treated very well by the Tanzanian people. I felt like I was getting cheated a lot of the times on pricing, that I was getting taken advantage of, that I was being lied to, by and large. Not by every Tanzanian person, but by too many to not say that it's a problem. I'm giving this country a 4. I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 10. So I'm not giving up on Africa. I'm just giving up on Tanzania as a country.
But I have to say, like, being in Tanzania for 2.5 months, it made us consider leaving Africa right now and then coming back another time, because it was so stressfully tiring to deal with those type of situations with the people and the pricing and everything. My score is gonna be a 6 because, again, I think this country is beautiful. I thought Zanzibar was very beautiful. You know, people here are beautiful. The culture is beautiful. What makes my score go down is, like, you have this, let's say, the best meal of your life in front of you, and they tell you you pay $5,000 or you can't eat it, and you just like look at it.
And at the same time, other people are eating that meal for $5.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, there's beautiful things to do and see, but you can't. And it's because of either the people or the pricing.
Right.
So that just makes it very annoying.
And one more thing, because people might attack us like, oh, you guys are just too poor. Well, listen, if we went to Switzerland, right, the most expensive country in the world, we wouldn't be complaining about the price, because it would be clear what the prices are. People in Switzerland wouldn't be trying to steal from us or swindle us or trying to lie to us about the price. But here, that problem is you just don't know who to trust. It's not even about the money. At the end of the day, it's not even about the money. It's about the trust. I feel like, and I'm not putting words in her mouth, but I'll say this, I feel like I can't trust anybody outside based on the experiences I've had when it comes to pricing, trying to get things done, trying to move around. And that's the biggest problem. A country is only as good as its people and how they treat the foreigner, how they treat the stranger. Tanzanians love to talk about their God and how much they love Jesus and Muhammad and all that stuff. But what did those guys say about the foreigner? How do we treat the stranger? Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because they didn't treat strangers right.
My yard. Wait. All of you.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
But hey, it's an experience, and maybe when 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when we're mega rich and we're standing on top of Kilimanjaro, we'll take a toast. We'll take a toast of our Stony and our Pineapple fans, and we'll say, you know what, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. You know what, Tanzania's really nice.
So our suggestion is, if you're rich, you'll definitely enjoy Tanzania.
Yeah, go shoot a lion, buddy.
Yeah. What? No, do not shoot lions. But yeah, if you're a budget traveler like us, it might not be the best choice for you to come here right now.
It's crazy, man. Like you could go to like Serbia and have a great time.
You can go to Mauritius.
You could go to Mauritius. You could go to Turkey. You could go to Tunisia, Morocco, and have fun without spending an arm and a leg to be exposed to stuff. And it's just not right. And I know they'll say, oh, we're trying to conserve our nature. We have endangered lions and elephants we need to protect. Yes, I understand that. But like, There has to be another way than, you know, letting rich foreigners skew these prices out of control. Hey, Tanzania, do better. Maybe Backpack Bandits will be back. Sorry if we hurt your feelings, buddy, but
yeah.
we don't
did
care.
have some good times.
Kenya, here we come. I love my wife. I love my life. I still wouldn't take back this experience for anything, even though it was crazy. So, hey, we're the Backpack Bandits, and peace.